back to All Sorts of Sports. Let's start over. All right, so you guys watched the Thursday night game.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You did. I know you did.
No, I saw portions of it come across on Twitter.
You didn't watch the game?
No.
All right. Paul Gunther is trash. We talked about this last week, right? Do you remember the whole shit in regards to your boy Florio?
Yeah, Mikey Mike.
And what he said in regards to he was like, yeah, the Raiders don't have, like, they spent too much on offense and they didn't spend shit on defense, which is bullshit in itself. Can we agree there? LaMarcus Joyner, Nick Kwiatkowski, number 42, Corey Littleton.
I like Nick.
Yeah, no, Nick is good. Corey Littleton, we're not using him right. Was he not good with the Rams?
But see, that goes back to my entire thing when it comes to Gruden is that, like, I don't give Gruden any credit for anything other than being a quarterback whisperer. Like, that's literally the only thing I can hang my hand on.
He controls the offense, though.
But what I'm saying is that on that offense, because of, like, what we were talking about earlier with Mike Mayock, through his draft selection, has done a really good job of getting some top-tier talent on that offense. Darren Waller is a top 3 tight end. Top 4 tight end. You have Josh Jacobs, who was my favorite rookie running back when he came out. You have Derek Carr, who shows what I still think he had 2 of the best games I've ever seen him play this year in his career. And I think a lot of that has to do with John. Where you don't get a lot of credit from me with John is the same thing that's happened over his entire career. What? He does not know anything about defense, and he does a terrible job a lot of times picking up the guys who the defense coordinator should be on defense.
I'm not arguing that.
As well as when it comes to other things on the offense, like a running game, he's never been good at manufacturing a good running game. Yeah, he lucks into some talent sometimes, but Lord knows it's not like he makes powerhouses out of
Tyrone Wheatley and Charlie Garner, that was nothing?
When you guys had Tyrone Wheatley and Charlie Garner more than anything was known for what coming out of the backfield more than it was rushing. It was catching and receiving out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the running game.
And this year, like, we've had a good running game
because you have Josh Jacobs, and that's my thing.
It was more than just Josh Jacobs.
But my thing is that there's a talent thing when it comes to Gruden. Like, if you put Gruden on the Chargers, there's a reason that if I'm looking through coaches, I'd say that Gruden is a better coach than Anthony Lynn right now. Because if I think Gruden had
management,
Gruden had Herbert and the rest of those pieces that they had on offense, I think that they'd be a juggernaut on offense compared to what he has with Derek Carr, who I think is limited in his abilities overall. I just think that there's a certain limitation when it comes to John.
Like, what do you mean in terms of, like,
you know how I feel about Derek Carr? He's not a top tier quarterback, in my opinion. I like dude. I want to root for dude, even though he makes some really shitty faces on the sideline when things aren't going his way. But what I'm saying is that John does a really good job of coaching quarterbacks. I mean, even when he wasn't playing, that was his biggest bit on ESPN, right? Was John Gooden's quarterback camp, whatever the fuck it is, and shit. He knows what he's doing there. He's Brett Favre, what he did with Rich Gannon in Oakland.
Offensively, he's a genius, right?
Quarterbacks, he's a genius. That's don't get me twisted. Quarterbacks,
so when we went to the Super Bowl, right? That terrible year in 2002
with Bill Callahan as the head coach.
Yeah, but we were still using our same offensive playbook.
I got you, but look at John.
And then look at the year before.
John went to Tampa Bay with a defense that was already installed by Tony Dungy. That had Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, the whole nine. Then
Simeon Rice, Derek Brooks.
But what did he do special? He got Brad Johnson to do what he needed to do from the quarterback position to get things done. And that offense was not good.
We need somebody to come in and fix this defense.
My thing is that John Gruden, in my opinion, is more a personality than he is known as a coach. But anything is that
that's true, because it's like he's a character of himself in terms of, like,
if I drafted a quarterback, or if I brought in John Gruden and paid him $20 million to completely develop my quarterback, people would say $20 million is the same. But if I got John Gruden's deduction on a quarterback at $20 million, that I knew that he was going to get the absolute best out of that quarterback, I think that's a deal. But what I'm not going to do is give John Gruden as much power as you guys did, because I just don't think he's worthwhile. I think he's along the same lines of a Jeff Fisher. Personality.
What personality does Jeff Fisher have?
What, are you kidding me? Jeff Fisher's teams and what I was thinking.
Jeff seemed more like a dick.
when Jeff Fisher played us, talking about throwing my team under the bus again, when we traded all these players for RG3, and what John Gruden did, or not John Gruden, what Jeff Fisher did,
like when he put out the draft picks, like
he put every draft pick out there as a team captain.
So
the coin toss.
That's not anything.
I'm saying personality. Like, people know Jeff Fisher's personality. People know John Gruden's personality.
Mm-hmm.
He's Chucky, right? When it comes
he's a rah-rah guy that's good on offense.
When it comes to X's and O's,
defense.
I have a problem with him as far as actually getting the best out of his offense. He gets the best out of his quarterbacks for that. And the quarterback's the most important position.
So
but
our offensive line wasn't great.
When it comes to that offensive line,
mm-hmm.
show me how much draft stock you guys have put into your offensive line over the last 7 years.
Okay. Colton Miller,
mm-hmm.
our starting left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We plucked Rodney Hudson from the Chiefs
mm-hmm.
early on. We took Trent Brown from the Patriots early on. Who's our right guard? Well, Richie Incognito.
You guys have done an amazing job of developing.
Hold on. I'm not finished. Brandon Parker, Denzel Good, like all these guys that were backup fringe guys had to come in this year and had to come in this year and start in games against great defenses because of COVID.
Look, if you want me to make
that's coaching, but that's Tom Cable too.
Hey,
so I can't just put
there
that
you
on.
go. And that was the next point that I was going to make. That was the next point I was going to make.
Who gave shit to Tom for us for taking Tom Cable? You. I remember that.
I remember Tom Cable.
I know. No, trust me, I know.
I get
but
it.
At the same time,
there's certain guys that are good position coaches. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when it comes to John,
but didn't you isn't it the same thing?
The Raiders. Look, all right. You want to hear me say the nicest thing I can possibly say about the Raiders right now? All right.
I don't care at this point.
The Raiders have been dealt an absolute shitty hand this year when it comes to injuries, when it comes to the COVID bug and all this shit. It's been terrible.
Part of that is on us. Part of that is on us.
Regardless of that situation, is you have across the NFL, all these teams have to usually deal with some sort of the same bullshit. Yeah. And when it comes down to it, if I'm looking overall if you're paying $100 million for a person to come in and revamp the team, there should be no situation in which Jack Del Rio's 3 years are substantially better record-wise than you. Period. That's it. And you're in your third year in. I want to see an absolute trajectory upward. I don't want to see that you have.
I see it upward on offense, not on defense, and that's the issue.
And that's half, if not more than half, of the job. You have to have a defense that's willing to do things. You have to have a defense that's able to either get turnovers or stop you in crucial times. And the Raiders right now have not shown the capability to doing either. And that's also on John for hiring his friend, qualified or not. He didn't get the guys that he needed to get out of it. And when you're looking at overall over the last few years, look, me and you will disagree on the Khalil Mack trade. Totally understood. But what it comes down to is that you made a decision, and after 3 years, it is your team. There's no excuses. Sean McVay goes into L.A. after they had a terrible season, and what does he do? He has them at 11-5, and the following year they're in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan had a team that started off 1-10. They ripped off 5 in a row, and they went to a goddamn Super Bowl after a year or two. Right now, there is no excuse for a guy like John Gruden not to get the job done with as much name recognition and the salary that he is getting. You are not waiting around for the things for the right things to align in the sky. You paid him $100 million. Get the fucking job done. And he's not. And what scares me when it comes to the Raiders is the fact that Mark Davis and everybody else is so in love with John, the personality of the guy, because you can't hate John Gruden. But what you can understand is he is overrated as fuck when it comes to what he does and gets out of his team. I will give him 100% credit that he is one of the best quarterback minds in the history of the league. You look at what he did with Brett Favre. You look at what he did ever since then. Getting the best out of Rich Gannon, getting the best. Rich Gannon was basically nobody. He was on the streets when he came in there and he did what he did with Rich Gannon. You had Brad Johnson, a journeyman. They won a Super Bowl. And Brad Johnson didn't win the Super Bowl, but goddamn, he did a lot. John Gruden is fucking overrated.
That's why you have a quarterbacks coach.
And that's all I'm saying is that, like, right now, it's bottom line. If I'm looking at that,
it's like look at it this way. it's kind of like if, let's say, like, I'm not saying this, right? But let's say like your pops is a fuck up, right? Let's like, and you know it, but if I come in and be like, yo, your pops a fuck up, you go like, yo, don't talk about like that. Like that's for me to
the
do.
Godfather.
No,
It's when
no,
Michael, when they're in Cuba and Michael looks at Fredo,
That's
and he
different.
pulls Fredo in and he
Hold on.
says, "Don't
Shut
you
up.
ever take
Shut up.
sides against
Shut
your
up.
family again,
Shut up.
Fredo."
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Let me finish. I would understand what you two are saying in terms of if John's coming out making excuses and shit, not taking accountability. It's kind of like we all know that the shit isn't going the way we want to. We were 6-4 last year, finished the season 7-9. We were 6-3 this year, and now we've lost 4 out of the last 5. And Greg Williams, thank you for that extra win. Like, nobody's fucking happy here. Look at my name. But we can kind of see why.
I mean, you can only say I'm sorry so many times before it's your fault.
That's my thing. Is like take what did he say in the press conference? When things aren't going right, you have to look towards the head coach.
Yeah, he's like, John, it's all on me.
I'm going to listen to you. It is all on you, and there's no reason why this team should be the way it is for you getting paid what it is you do.
Okay, now let me ask you this question: what a leader says is that, but is that ever really the case in a leadership role?
Yes, you get fired when things aren't going right. That's how it goes.
That's not what the fuck I'm talking about. Pay attention, right?
I'm
saying,
paying attention.
I know. Listen, if you're managing whatever people, whatever, and somebody like fucks up like Gunther did, Paul Gunther, and it's been consistent, and we gave up 200 yards rushing, like back-to-back weeks, and then the following game, once we elevated Rob
Marinelli.
Yeah, I can't speak. To defensive coordinator, the Chargers had under 100, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we just couldn't stop the pass because we had Daryl Worley as our starting safety, who we picked up off the street. And then he fucked up a coverage twice, cover 2. And they ran it on back-to-back plays, I believe. And scored, and then had a 2-point. It's just bad.
All I know is that
we need to fix the defense.
Looking at three weeks left in the season, the fact that there is a and I was telling you this on the phone personally, James, the fact that there is a snowball's chance in hell that the Washington football team, the team without a name, could finish with a better record than the Las Vegas Raiders,
I didn't believe it
should be a fireable fucking offense for John Gruden or anybody else, because we're a 3-win team that's got Dwayne Haskins trotting out there at quarterback. Come on. Like there's nothing to get around it. And I'm telling you, if you look around the league and you start doing the comparison game, one-on-one, who would you rather have right now? John Gruden, an ex-guy? There are not a lot of people in this league in which you're going to take John Gruden. Tell me. This segment's been long.
Move on.
You can go to the next one.
Move on.
I don't care.
I know.
We know you're sad, but there's nothing else to be said.
Look, I put up anybody's sadness. I'm a Washington football team fan. You want to talk about sadness over the years of my life? Fuck. I've got nothing to celebrate.
How about
everything we can celebrate gets ruined, whether it's RG3's knee or Sean Taylor just dying. What the fuck? I can't get any breaks here. Right. Yeah, I made it sound all nonchalant. Our best player was murdered compared to RG3 basically having nothing, sad, and Alfred Morris being a nobody after 2 years of putting up Hall of Fame type numbers. So yeah. No, I don't fucking have anything.
I forgot about Alfred Morris.
Oh, yeah, see? You forgot about Alfred Morris. I'm a Washington football team fan. Look, nobody's playing no goddamn violence for me. But what I'm saying right now is that if I'm looking overall at the league, the Raiders to me are a giant disappointment because of the man in charge. And that's just what it is. And regardless of how it is they got there, the buck stops with him. As Ryan likes to say, it trickles uphill, and that's what it is.
Well, looking forward, I hope Derek comes back healthy. He got injured in the first quarter. So we did what we did with Mariota.
I wish good health and fortune for all of the Raiders, and I hope they lose I hope they lose the remaining games.
Very serviceable Marcus Mariota, clearly, against a very bad defense.
I like Mariota. You remember I said Mariota was probably going to start before the end of the year? I didn't think it was going to be because of injury. I legitimately thought it was going to be because of play, but all right.
Derek Carr's been playing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Once again, he has the quarterback whisperer. If you can't do well with John Gruden, you're not going to do well.
Agreed. All right, so that was towards the end of the pod. It was supposed to be towards the end of the pod, but it started off. So I'm gonna pivot back to shit that I wanted to talk about. Today, history happened. Lionel Messi tied Pele for the most goals scored for a single club at 643. Did you think that was enough to win the game? No. We still dropped points.
Did you tie?
Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah, you guys are like Arsenal. I don't know what's going on.
You might be worse, man.
No. We're 15th. I know you're at least top 10.
Let me ask you this question. If you had Messi on your team, would you be 15
No.
or top 10? Oh, yeah, exactly.
No, we wouldn't be.
I know, you'd be a lot better.
No, our defense is awful. We can score. We just get scored on all the time.
Ask me who we started at center backs tonight.
Well, who would you start?
I have no idea.
Okay, well,
Because PK's out for the year.
one of our
Longley's out.
One of our defenders just scored on us. I don't know what you want me to fucking say to you, man. I got nothing. I have no, like, you have the best player in the world. Like,
we're still losing.
He just broke. Yeah. Like, I don't feel bad for you.
Messi's going to City.
That's an awesome
or PSG.
That's an awesome accomplishment. But, like, you're complaining about this year. We haven't won anything in a decade.
I'm complaining about the past couple of years.
You guys have won in the last 10 years.
No.
Multiple times. So I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, because I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you that we're playing like shit.
Yeah, you're
with the best player in the fucking world.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
I feel like he has to leave at this point because you're wasting his time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And we need to get his wages off the books, and he needs to go somewhere where he can win.
Yeah, he earned it. He earned it for you guys. So.
And every legend from that club says the same exact thing.
What?
That he's earned the right to go.
Yeah. I mean, if he
they let Xavi and Iniesta do it.
Yeah, he deserves to be able to leave so he can win again.
Yeah. All right, so that was our soccer talk. Do you want to talk about Arsenal?
No.
Okay. Just checking. Moving on to news that happened in Major League Baseball this week. The Cleveland Indians decided to drop the name starting in 2021, right? Or after the 21-21 season?
After this season is my understanding.
Yeah. How you guys feel about that?
I'd like to say that it's finally a good time to know that the Washington football team's starting to trend, you know, for people to make the right decisions, right? Like, yes, I get it. Everybody wants to harp on the fact that over history we have been, as I've said here on the podcast, the villains of sports, right? To be a Washington football fan over the course of history is to make yourself a villain. You are the bad guys. You are on the side of racism. You are on the side of overpaying fat, overweight pieces of shit, hundreds of millions of dollars when they want to go and fucking belly flop on the goddamn field and take naps when Michael Vick's running all around. Like, that's the face of us for a very, very long time. Maybe, well, since 1999 or so, right? And now you see what it is that we're doing is something that you're going to see being followed across a lot of sports teams, which is realizing and coming to terms with the fact that you've got to do something different. Now, look, is it a long time overdue? Absolutely. But I got to give people credit for actually making the changes when they do, even though you want to say it with a grain of salt and being like, well, it took you fucking long enough to do it, right? But the Cleveland Indians is just, it's a dumb name. And it's not a name that which we should be fighting for, the same way that the Redskins was not a name that anybody should have been fighting for. We need to understand that it's 2020 and we can be a lot better than this. And what I don't want to hear is complaints from all these fans about these stupid ass team names. Yeah, never mind. I'm just glad it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody can agree that it's overdue. I think they're going to go back to the Spiders, is what I was hearing.
Great name.
Yeah, it was what they were before they were the Indians. So,
nice.
And the thing is, if you support your team, doesn't matter what their team name is,
or where they play,
it doesn't matter. Just shut up.
I just hope they're not the Cleveland baseball team for 2 years.
Yeah.
Or for the rest of the time.
Which we might be.
Yeah. No name but team.
I think there's a legitimate chance now.
Yeah, their marketing campaign right now is such that like they're pushing it so hard that I'm like, nah, it could just stay this way. Because every week the Washington football team, like their big thing is, Montez Sweat, no name but team. And I'm like, it's corny, but it's catching on.
if the Wift continue to get better, which they have been, and I feel like they're building the right way in terms of getting everything else right, and then if they can get a stud QB, boom.
Yeah, because Alex Smith has the worst QBR of any quarterback to start in the start in the NFL this year. It's like 6. It's fucking terrible.
Tony Gibson's coming back though.
But Alex Smith I thought he was serviceable. He's not a serviceable quarterback.
Alex Smith's numbers as far as looking at QBR
I can't. The eye test.
When he came in on that game when Kyle Allen went down, and Alex Smith went in, you could see he was still worried about that leg. He wasn't putting enough power on it. Everything was a fucking duck. It wasn't good. When he got the start, you could still see early on in the game he wasn't playing that great. None of the balls had any velocity on them. And then he was doing the one thing that Alex Smith does not do, which is turn the fucking football over. And he did it repeatedly. After that, he's been sort of in this mode of what people have known Alex Smith for being, which is the game manager, right? He doesn't miss the throws. He doesn't make all of them, but he does just enough he gets out of the way, doesn't turn the ball over and let the defense cook. And that's been sort of what it's been. And that was the knock on him when it came to San Francisco. That was a knock on him when it came to Kansas City when he first got there. And with us, it's kind of a perfect combination because unlike that team that he had in Kansas City, our defense is legit.
Right, but here's the thing, and this is my issue with Alex Smith, is if Chase Young has a bad game or if the defense, they can get run on, and they have, there's no catch-up ability by the offense with Alex Smith at the quarterback. You can't heave it 70 yards. We have receivers who can definitely go catch it.
That's not
for
true,
a 70-yard bomb. He can't.
Yeah, but look at how many games we've had to come back from. Like you look at the Pittsburgh game, we were down by 3 scores.
But that's not Alex Smith winning the game.
That was Alex Smith winning those games. There was defense. Yeah. That was defense playing stoutly at the end, and especially the reason they were in a lot of those bad positions was because of the stalls on offense early on, which gave the other team great field position to start out. When you're starting out, when you get a touchback, you're starting at 25 and you go 3 and out. You punt, even though the best punter in the league to me right now is Tress Way. Even if you got Tress Way, there's been so much you can do punting from your own 25 where you're still putting them they're one play away from being in their own territory. And it makes it very, very easy for them to score. The only thing that we've been great on defense with Jack Del Rio is making adjustments as the game goes on. And have been doing a really good job. And then Alex Smith, when they go into the no huddle 2-minute offense, has been making the right plays. And that's been usually getting the ball into certain guys' hands. Logan Thomas, who I criticize all the time for having brick hands, how many dimes was Alex Smith dropping to him? And not even full-blown dimes that Logan Thomas would make an acrobatic catch. And then you got guys like Terry McLaurin who are amazing at YAC. They're getting the job done, and we come back. But I get what you're saying overall. I'm just saying that if we're looking at it honestly when it comes to Alex Smith, on the eye test, no. He's not a top-tier quarterback. He's not even close to being. Well, he's in the bottom rung.
And the Pittsburgh game was his best performance of the season with a whopping QBR of 41. It's just you can't win with – you can't sustain wins with that kind of quarterback. I don't know if Dwayne Haskins is the answer because Dwayne Haskins doesn't know how to put touch on the ball. He just has to throw it at 1,000 miles an hour all the time.
Get on the Wift with this.
No, I'm saying the Wift
because fuck the Indians.
The Wift is a great team.
That sounded so bad.
What?
In a vacuum.
Well, change your name. Christopher Columbus got it wrong, and y'all still going around calling yourself Indians?
Yeah, Spiders is way cooler.
Who said y'all? First off, Jesus, that was problematic. All right.
I'm a Washington football team fan, which made him problematic by nature.
You know who else is problematic?
Who?
Fucking Jake Paul. He said that he was going to he wanted to wrestle McGregor or something, or box him.
Yeah, that's already confirmed, I thought.
It's not
Oh, it's
confirmed, I
confirmed?
don't think.
It's not confirmed.
Nah. But you know who wants to jump in with him?
Who?
Amanda Nunez.
I would pay full money
I
to
want
watch
that to so happen.
Nunez beat his
Whoop
ass.
his ass.
Look,
Oh, that would be great.
The Paul brothers, regardless of whatever it is you think about them, and trust me, most people think something negatively about the Pauls.
I don't.
What you have to give them credit for is very Trump-like, realizing that you control someone into getting what it is you want out of them. Which is, when it comes to, what is it, Logan is going to fight Floyd?
Yes.
If you look at that sort of scenario, under no way in which you can flip this, isn't this already a giant win for Logan Paul? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if he gets his ass kicked by Mayweather,
well, if he dies,
all expected it. He's not going to die. He's not going to die. But he's not going to die. Floyd doesn't pack that much power in his punches anyway. He ain't going to die. But there is a matter of if. And I was watching his Snapchat the other day, and I was like, motherfucker, he got me, right? Was it if, for some reason whatsoever, he lands that punch? Because that's all it takes, right? Is the one punch. If he lands that one punch on Floyd and knocks him out, you ended Floyd.
He's bigger. He's bigger. He's bigger.
Floyd has been hitting people who are also 104 pounds. Yeah. The Pauls are over 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he'll be able to hit Floyd because he's so fast.
You have to treat the Pauls like you do an internet troll.
Yeah, even if the fight is awful and it's just a dancing competition in the ring, the Pauls have won. Yeah. They have your eyeballs. They make their money solely off your eyeballs and your fucking finger. Yep. And you know what they've done? They've got a lot more eyeballs and a lot more fingers on phones scrolling through their fucking feed. And they're making millions more dollars now because of it. Mm-hmm. Good for them. Good for them. If they control their, and like, it's not even like some of it has been.
I don't like that though.
I love it because you know what? That is the current, current market.
No,
it's not their fault.
We did this.
Dude, we're talking about the Pauls right now on our little platform. Like, that's at the end of the day, you can't blame them. We are feeding the trolls. You never feed the trolls.
Listen to what I'm saying. If, like, I don't like the idea of it because that puts it so that the next kid is like, oh yeah, I need to troll to get on. Like, that's how you get a Tekashi.
That's how you got a president.
Yeah. And that's how real shit happens, right?
But it's how real shit is happening. It's up to,
and I'm saying I don't like it.
But but here's the thing: is that we could do one of two things. We could play into it like we're doing right now in feeding this beast, or we could say, no, we're not going to talk about him or anything else at all if we really want to stop the shit. But I think right now the spectacle of it is, look, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I want to see the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather thing. They've even gotten to my head now. Because right now at the end of it, and I never pay for a fucking Floyd fight because I think it's boring as shit. I get the technical aspect about him, but goddamn, I want to see motherfuckers get knocked out.
Logan's not beating Floyd. He couldn't beat KSI in 2 fights.
He shouldn't under any circumstance. But even if they didn't interview with KSI, he's hoping.
Yeah, because he says, like, he's saying he roots for the YouTubers, and that's cool.
Yeah,
but at the same time, he knows he's not going to win.
But if we don't want to see it happen,
he wanted to fight Mike.
If we don't want to see it happen, then what it needs to take is our generation, who being the older heads, and the people older than us, not feeding these goddamn trolls, and we're incapable of doing it.
Yeah, we won't.
It's not happening.
And we're also all at home and bored. I'm at home and bored.
And we're about to be locked down again.
Yeah, let me see Logan Paul get punched in the face by Floyd. Give it to me. I'm bored. There's not even any fucking snow outside. It lied to me.
Nah, bro. Sorry. I almost died doing that shit.
What?
I had to drive in the snow.
Well, don't drive in the snow.
I'm never doing it again.
First of all, you saw what car I was in, and there was just ice. I don't know why you were in a
No, Mustang. I had to go. I had to.
Rent an SUV.
My car was absolutely sideways and perpendicular on fucking Colesville Road the other night because a car came into my lane and I hit black ice.
Yeah, don't drive.
Yeah, trust me, I'm not.
I'm gonna
figure a way around it. But that was the first and last time driving in the snow, not an all-wheel drive car.
For Enterprise, and just go to Enterprise. It's like $35 for an SUV. It's way safer.
I didn't have the luxury of time in this situation.
If you do need an Enterprise discount, a deep Enterprise discount, let me know.
All right, but yeah, it was funny because I was like, my first car was an Audi. and I'm just watching Audi just zoom past me, and I'm like, oh, you lucky it's not
Quattro,
fucking
baby.
sunny. I was like, you lucky it's not sunny, because I'll dust your ass, but damn it,
But
I gotta be safe.
yeah. The alternative is you're dusting your own ass.
Yeah,
It's like when
and I become dust.
I remember I had the Challenger for like a couple years ago, and the way I described it, even in the rain, was rocket power ice skates. I'm on 395 on the HOV lanes, just gripping the wheels, gripping the goddamn steering wheel, shaking, being like,
Yeah.
I got no. You can just feel I'm just sliding across the highway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I spun the S2000 out on just like water. So
That's tough. All right, so I have to. It's going to be a callback from last week. Okay. Now I'm gonna preface what I'm about to say.
It's by Kyrie.
Nah, because I know K Dot is going to be like, ah, and I'm like, the whole time, I said, I'm not just going to agree because I don't know, and I'm going to look up some shit. And then I ended up sending you guys shit and saying, what the fuck is he talking about? So
I want to hear. I want to hear from you,
Yeah,
James.
let's see
Go
what
ahead.
you learned.
yeah,
What did we learn? What did we learn this week, class?
fuck you first off. And homeboy just talks just to talk.
I
Like the shit that he said, and Charles Barkley responded. He's like, yeah, he's talking about like how artists just want to be paid and be respected. And Charles like, the fuck are you talking about? You're a basketball player. You're not an artist. And I'm like, yeah.
He's an actor. You saw Uncle Drew.
But then you saw and then you saw the game before when he went back to Boston. I think it was last night. The man was burning sage, like walking through the stadium.
Yo, that was my final straw with him, dude. I can't.
That was the final straw?
I mean,
Like
I
I saw something, and it made perfect sense. It's like this guy is the Summer Walker of basketball players, and I wholeheartedly agree at this point.
I don't get the reference fully because I guess I don't listen to enough Summer Walker. But
he's
just look at the shit Summer Walker says.
I like that song she has with Amina.
No. Look, see, that's the similarity right there. You like the songs, right? Just like we like how he plays basketball. All the other shit is like, what the fuck?
So hold on, has it changed? So I remember last week when I was talking about the Kyrie thing, I made it a point to say that I like Kyrie. I think that he just has.
I like his game.
I don't know. I'm going past that. I like Kyrie as a guy. I like Kyrie, but I think that because you even posted something today, which was that it was somebody making a mockery of the fact that people say that Kyrie's not a good teammate.
Yeah, I put that on it.
Which I even defended it last week that I don't see Kyrie as being a locker room cancer. I see Kyrie.
That was one of the main things that people were saying. Remember?
But my thing is that those people that were saying that I always thought were few and far between from the people that were talking about like what I'm talking about, which is the dude has leadership tendencies and no knowledge to back up why anyone should follow him. He does this fake woke shit. James, me and you were talking on the phone the other day, and I dropped that line from the Blueprint too. Just because a nigga wear kufi, it don't mean he bright. All right? Because you don't understand him, it don't mean that he nice. It's what he was saying about Nas. Is it Uchi Wally Wally, nigga, or is it one mic? Pick your goddamn lane and stay there. With Kyrie, it's, well, the world is flat. You know, you just need to be thinking about things. And nigga, what are you talking about?
And then
from my perspective, if you think about it, when you're standing here and you're looking at the landscape, shut up, Kyrie.
It's
and
the fake woke
I want to make note that Kadeem turned into Booker T 3 times in this past like 2 minutes.
It's just
if I was talking about Vince McMahon, yeah, you could make the comparison.
We're coming for you.
And he's rubbing his head the entire time, like, oh shit, I just fucked up.
Kyrie is
That's still one of my favorite gifts of all time.
He is socially problematic sometimes.
He's extremely problematic because
he comes back. He has to apologize. You remember he did that for saying that he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I made all the science teachers have to be more emphatic that the world is not flat."
Yeah, and that's a problem because people listen to him, and that's
right.
Yeah.
Even his teammates. But that's the thing is that the reason he's almost an insidious cancer on a locker room is because you're going to have half the team wanting to follow him, and you don't need half the team wanting to follow this dude. And not to mention, a lot of times they actually end up playing better when he's not there. But whatever. Look, I rooted for Kyrie back when he was in Cleveland. I thought he got a raw deal when LeBron came back to Cleveland because it was his team. He was putting his own make or mark on that team.
They wouldn't have won shit.
Huh?
They wouldn't have won shit.
I get that, but I'm saying as far as like being the guy in the locker room, and you have the team running a certain way, and you have this star that just eclipses you, and he comes in, and now no, it's not my team anymore, and it's just a fact. Like I felt for Kyrie during that period, but I also know. Look, there's another part of me that doesn't feel bad about Kyrie because they won and they could have continued winning.
And
that
was
ask him that, if
you ask him that, he would be like, "Yeah, immature. We won."
He was very immature.
No, but I'm saying, would you rather have your own team? Like, would you rather be Devin Booker or would you rather be Kyrie here?
But here's the thing with Kyrie is that I don't know what his answer is. I don't know what Kyrie's answer is. I know what my answer
his
is.
answer before was like he wanted to be his own team, but after, like, it sounded like he came out and said, like, that's why he has fucked up.
Yeah, but that's what he always does. I make a statement, I make a decision, I fucked up. It's not fucking up. I don't feel bad for him anymore.
There's that accountability aspect. Ron, you always talk about self-awareness, right? That only takes you so far. Like, you can constantly say, well, I mean, I know I'm a serial killer. I mean, it's good to know that stop fucking killing people. Like,
self-awareness is key to becoming a better person at the other end. It is the key.
Can't be the only step.
Whether or not you use that key, that's 100% up to you.
Kyrie is just aggravating as fuck. And look, I even think Charles may have went too far, some of what he was saying, but I can't disagree with the sentiment of what Charles was saying, which is at the end of the day, Kyrie, look,
Charles gets paid to go too far.
Talk about your social, the same way I want to get paid for going too far. Kyrie, talk about your social issues, talk about the things you find important, but dude, learn some more before you open your mouth. Just learn. Shut up and listen.
I go back to the live that he did with KD, and he was talking about, like I want like 6 or 7 touches in the post, and KD's like, nah. Nah. And then he's like, all right, maybe like 5. So like he come out with this grand statement. KD's like, nah, bro.
Did you see Kawhi?
He's like, all right, maybe.
Kawhi posted on his like Instagram live or whatever. He was like, yo, go do your pressers, dude.
I know that was Paul. I mean, that was Dame Lillard.
Oh, Dame Lillard, yeah.
And then they gave him credit for doing it. The one thing I agree with Charles Barkley more than anything else in what he said about Kyrie, I need James Harden in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie just for the amount of stories that are going to come out of the goddamn media. That's all I want. I think it'll be the most fun any of us have ever had following basketball. I think it'll be an absolute shit show. I can't wait for them. I can't wait for KD to come to Washington. Like all this shit that'll happen after all that goes out.
That is a good segue because my next topic was the report that that the Sixers are now putting in Ben Simmons into trade talks with Houston, which it was reported that wasn't the case before. Do you think James Harden's going to go to the Sixers or the Nets?
To me, it goes back to what we were talking about last week, where every day Harden's value is going down a little bit. And if the Sixers can get a package together where they're big winners at the end of it, then yes, I think he goes to the Sixers. Look, as much as I want to see Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and that whole squad, I don't think there's any argument that Harden is a better player than Ben Simmons. And if they come out way on top, there's no it's still a business and it's still a game. You want your team to win. And I don't see why they wouldn't make that trade. I just think they have to wait until Harden's stock has dropped to where it makes sense for them to make the trade. The Nets, I don't see it happening.
It wouldn't make sense in Brooklyn for me.
But if he really wants out, eventually Houston's going to have to bite the bullet and take a loss. Like, I don't know what else they're going to do. If he's going to sit out, he's more than, he can if he wants. But yeah, I think if you're a team that wants him or thinking about it, you got to wait until that his stock is so low that you're getting a huge return by bringing him in. On top of the fact that you're getting fucking James Harden.
Yeah. K-Dot. When I said that, I don't think it makes sense to Brooklyn. I saw your face.
Yeah, because my position on this hasn't changed. It's been the same from the very beginning, which was that the Houston stock with Harden is going down and his leverage is going away as time goes on. I already said when we first started talking about this, if I'm Philadelphia, if I might package Ben Simmons for Harden straight up, but you're not getting any first round picks from me. You're not getting anybody else on the team. The reason being is that you're not going to find a better trade position than you have with us. And if I'm Philadelphia, I also sit knowing that I have absolutely no problem with letting the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid experiment with shooters work out or see how it goes without having to leverage anything. Yeah, at the end of the day, like Ryan said, there is no doubt in my mind that if you're looking at straight up, James Harden is a overall better player than Ben Simmons. But I think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid is enough to make some noise in the East. If I'm Philly, I realize this, I stand firm in this, and realize I'm not going to have to mortgage anything to get this man. When you said the Brooklyn thing is where I go back to, is thinking if I'm the Nets, I package Dinwiddie, LeVert, all of them to go get Harden, because I think if we're looking at superstar teams, while me personally don't think it'll work just because I'm an agent of chaos, Kyrie, KD, and James Harden on the same team on paper, come on.
Yeah, that's a
come
dirty
on.
team.
Now, if you're Harden, the reason I have a problem with Harden, and the reason that you saw when we first started doing this podcast how I felt about Russell Westbrook, you saw it change over time, right? Mm-hmm. Harden has sort of taken that spot from Russ for me as far as a guy that just annoys the shit out of me because of how much Houston has bent over backwards for him. And if I'm Harden, I feel more pressed that maybe I need to change my game to go win something, because surely what I've been doing in Houston, even though they didn't get close, they got mad close, didn't get me to the promised land. So I got to change something.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. The thing I have in regards to James Harden is his style of play, right? He always has the ball in his hands, and he always shoots, and he always dribbles, and he always has possession of the ball when they're on offense. And then he was way more lazier earlier, and he's getting a little bit better on defense.
And he's got to lose some weight.
Yeah, because he came out looking like Kendrick Perkins. I didn't know if it was Kendrick Perkins or James Harden.
I've never seen Eddie Lacy and James Harden in the same room, so
right.
I can't.
But the thing is, with him in Brooklyn, you got the same situation kind of than it was with him and Russ in Houston. It's like you got two ball handlers now at your backcourt that typically always have the ball. Kyrie typically has the ball because he's a point. James Harden always has the ball because that's just what he does.
But that's what
you also got KD, who isn't like just gonna sit there and be cool with just catching and shooting.
But that's what I said.
That's his point.
Was that
that's what I said it's not gonna work.
Well, but here's my point: is that Harden's got to realize one of two things. Either your ass is staying in Houston where they've bent over backwards to make it work for you, or you're going to leave and realize I need to give up my style of play. Now, when I was criticized, when I made the dumb mistake of confusing who was in more possession of the ball between Russ and Harden, you got to give Russ credit. Russ changed what he needed to do to play with Harden. Now, it's now coming out that it wasn't that is the reason Russ left. Russ left because he did not like the attitude and the way the team itself was run. And he doesn't like the fact that Harden gets to do whatever the fuck it is he wants to. And you can see that in the video that you're seeing out of Washington every day with how it is that he's training and getting in these guys' asses about we have to make sure everything's working. And there's a clip that the Wizards put up that you couldn't hear but every fifth word that Russ was saying because the amount of bleeps they had on it. And you see the dudes they're soaking it up. You got a young team that's looking at Russ like,
man,
we're going to listen to you.
Russ. Like,
he's not playing.
That's why I love Russ.
But see, that's the thing with Harden is that Harden's got to realize when it came to AD wanting to leave New Orleans, was kind of in his corner. When it came to Jimmy Butler wanting to leave Minnesota, Chicago, and Philly, I was in his corner. I am not in Harden's corner the same way because this team did do everything they could do to help him out. The only thing they probably didn't do, which is what Russ saw, was hold him accountable. And if he's not going to hold himself accountable, which doesn't look like he's capable of doing with going to the strip clubs and everything during COVID, I don't know. And if I'm Philadelphia and I'm looking at, if I'm Philly and I think that there's an opportunity, we're going to have Embiid and Harden on a team, and knowing the kind of shenanigans that their asses are going to get into, I don't know if Doc Rivers is in the office saying, Daryl, don't do this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hold on. There's a big difference between like the clubs and stuff in Houston and the clubs and stuff in Philly.
Yeah, but it's so if you want to get into it, you can get into it. And not to mention that you got Harden with disposable income. It ain't nothing to hop on a flight and go to New York or DC or anything else when you're Philly. You got choices. You got tons of options here in Philly.
Sure.
Like the last thing that we want to see
wealthy.
is Harden. Yeah. Harden's not going to make it for the game because he was in New York partying it up. Like that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
for the year.
And if he ends up on the net. If he ends up on the Nets, he's just right there. So
Harden's got to figure something else out. He's got to figure out what to do, and he's got to do something differently than he has been doing, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he had the midlife crisis as like, you know, for like an NBA player in terms of, okay, I've done everything I need to do individually, but I haven't won shit. And now here's my opportunity to go somewhere where I can win shit, but I got to change.
But those are the guys that you look at with like KG, where he was like, yo, I love this team. I love this town. I'm doing everything I can do for Minnesota. But at the end of the day, you guys are just not going to be able to get the guys I need to get here. So I need to go. But that hunger, you never, ever, ever question KG's hunger.
Okay.
Never.
I get what you're saying. Like at first I was like, I was trying to find the difference, but I see what you're saying. All right. We're about to move on to football, but before I do, I want to say rest in peace to Lorenzo Taliaferro. He had a heart attack at 28. That was tough to see. And then also, if you look around like to the post-game interviews from like the teams that have played and like the interviews that like during the week, you see how many people were discussing it because of like how it affected him. And one person that I didn't know what it would affect as much as Darren Waller. His post-game press conference after we lost to the fucking Chargers in overtime, he was discussing how he didn't even want to play. How he didn't want to get out of bed because of how Lorenzo helped him in terms of everything that he went through. And to see that happen, it was kind of tough.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, they played together in Baltimore.
Yep.
You know, it's just, I hate to say it, but it's just one of those things. Like, every day is a gift. Especially now when people can't get to the doctor. I don't know what the cause was or whether it's just, you know, one of those things where it's just a freak accident and your heart gives out for a second. Yeah, it's real sad. Real sad.
Also, I want to say a get well soon to SVP, Scott Van Pelt. He announced that he has COVID.
Yeah. Invited. Last I read, he was not really having like super bad symptoms, so he just can't taste, can't smell.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
And I want to also give a shout out to my aunt and uncle down in North Carolina. They both got COVID, and my uncle's in the ER. So,
oh shit, sorry, dude.
Hopefully, he gets out soon.
Yeah, get better, man.
All right. All right. Now, let's get to some bullshit. We've had this discussion plenty of times. The most contentious one that I can remember recently between me and K-Dot.
Like always.
No, not like this. Because you really
do I need to rehash what happened at the beginning of this pod? Like, yeah.
No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But we're gonna talk about fucking Randy Moss saying that he's better than T.O. and
I don't even want to talk about it. I honestly, I don't want to talk about
third or
it.
fourth. Why?
Look, Randy's full of shit. He knows he's full of shit. But Randy's doing what all other diva receivers do, which is
trolling.
Jerry Rice does the same thing all the goddamn time. He just has a very sly way of doing it.
T.O. didn't do it.
Jerry Rice shits on everybody, and we all just kind of give him a pass. He's a nice guy, huh?
Can we agree that T.O. was on Brandon Marshall and Chad Johnson's podcast, I Am Athlete, and he was discussing how they asked him who the best receiver was, because it's Brandon Marshall, Chad, and T.O. there. So they're going to talk about receivers. And T.O. was like, yeah, Jerry's the best. Like, so it's not like they don't know and they can't.
Who did T.O. say number 2 was?
I believe he said it was him.
Got it. And the only reason T.O. says the only reason T.O. didn't put himself at number 1 is that he played with Jerry.
And Randy Moss.
They have a connection. That's it.
Randy Moss is on TV all the time.
That's it.
But it's not a stretch to say that T.O.'s not number 2.
Huh?
It's not a stretch to say that T.O. is not number 2, because I feel like he is.
It's not a stretch. I think that if you're looking at it from a standpoint of I go back to with the Rice thing, and I'm not trying to I'm not debating. I'm not even saying that this is my take. I'm just saying overall, depending on what your definition is as far as greatest of all time, is the same reason you got some people that say Barry Sanders is the greatest of all time. If there's one guy that I can pick for one season of their career to play on my team and realize, are you the best at it? There might be a couple years that I put Randy over anything that Jerry gave me, just if I'm looking at the quality of quarterbacks that Jerry had compared to the guys that Randy did. But there are also some lowlights in Randy's career that Jerry Rice never even got to. So I'm saying at the end of the day, it just depends on your definition. I think that Jerry's the greatest of all time. I do. I honestly do. But when we're looking at number 2 and number 3, I think you get into a bit of tired. I think it's up for debate. The same reason I think at any given point in time, not any one of those motherfuckers is the top guy I'd want to throw to. I'd want to throw to Calvin Johnson. But just depends on your definition.
Yeah, I think that the number 1 debate is over. And I don't know why Randy Moss keeps bringing it up.
Because he's Randy, and this is what receivers do. Same way if you talk to Chad, up until fairly recently, Chad still thought of himself as a top 5 goddamn receiver of all time. And here's the thing. If you're talking about Chad's footwork, I've never seen anybody with better footwork ever in the league. As far as being able to get separation at the end.
You should go back and look at that episode, because the shit was hilarious. They were talking about his feet too.
His feet were incredible.
Twinkle toes.
Should or should not Chad be in the Hall of Fame though?
No.
Why?
He just didn't do enough over a period of time. And I think that his best opportunity of potentially getting in was what he squandered in New England at the end.
I feel like what he did in Cincinnati was kind of enough.
Not to me. I don't think he's not when you're talking about the backlog of receivers that are coming up. Am I putting Chad over Reggie Wayne? No. Am I putting Chad over Marvin Harrison? No. Am I putting Chad over Calvin Johnson? No. Am I putting Chad over starting to look at it to me, you look at Chad. I put Chad in the same category as and I say he's below Steve Smith. I say he's in that Steve Smith peak what Santana Moss could have been, one of those guys that at any given point in time you might have thought of him as one of the top 3 receivers in the league, but he was never number 1.
Now let me throw this out there too. I do have an issue in regards to who votes for the people in the Hall of Fame and how that process is. So I always take all that shit with a grain of salt.
Yeah, especially as a Raiders fan.
No, it's not. I'm not even talking about in regards to the Raiders. Fuck that. But I'm just talking about players.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the players in general. All right, so we already discussed the Raiders and how we fucking squandered another fucking year, 2 years in a row. I pray we get Raheem Morris or something, somebody that can fix the fucking defense. And we do need talent there, because
at least we didn't have a dress bet this year, because y'all would be wearing dresses.
Me and him almost did it.
We almost did it. We almost did it on the phone. No, we almost did it on the phone last week. It would have been bad because that was
What did picks look like last week?
Ryan. God damn. I did it. I think it's the second time we give you standing ovation for how you did well.
I did it.
So broken clock is right once in a lifetime. Got it.
No, twice a day.
Twice a day. And Ryan's been twice.
Asshole.
All right. So who came in last was this guy. I had 9 right. K-Dot, you had 10. And Ryan, you had fucking 12. So good shit. And I'm already off to a bad start this week. Because the Raiders lost in overtime last night. Yeah. Like, I'm not even. There's no excuses. We lost that fucking game. But yeah, shit was bad.
Yeah,
It was set up for us to fail. It was set up for us to fail. No, it was a good game, but I'm saying we were set up to fail.
I know you got John Gruden as a head coach. You're always set up to fail. What are the picks looking like this week?
Let's go.
What are the picks looking like this week?
You got fucking Jack Del Rio. All right, so
The better record than John Gruden.
both picked.
Raiders head coach.
Y'all both picked the Chargers to win, so you're both 1 up. So let's go to the next game. Bills versus Broncos. I have the Bills.
Bills.
All right. Brian, you didn't have to say anything. Panthers, Packers. I have the Packers.
Packers.
Okay. Texans, Colts. I have the Colts.
Ooh.
Colts.
God, the Texans are so bad.
Fam.
I'll
The
take
Colts are fucking good.
I'll take the Texans.
Okay.
Ryan wants to make sure he doesn't win 2 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lions, Titans. I have the Titans.
Yeah, Lions
Titans.
are so bad.
I don't bet against Derrick Henry.
Henry.
Bears, Vikings. I have the Vikings.
Bears.
The Bears.
Okay. Who's our quarterback again?
Mitch.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mitch has been playing better. I don't give a shit.
I do have to say that he has been.
Kirk Cousins, I will always bet against.
All right. I'm going the Seahawks versus the Wift. I'm going for the Seahawks. Y'all both going for the Wift, right?
I'm going Lift.
Yeah, I have to. They're playing some good ball.
Not on offense, but we'll see.
Russ is Russ. Russ is
Antonio
James
Gibson's
Russ.
back. That helps.
Pats, Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Nope, not betting against Bill Belichick and rookie quarterbacks anymore. I'm taking the Patriots.
Okay.
It's a tough one, but let me go Pats because we're not going to be able to second guess these ones.
It's good.
What?
We're not able to second guess these games.
Oh, second. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's nice. It's freeing.
Well, I mean, I'll give you some time to think about it, and then if you want to change something when we go back.
Pull the curtain back. We're recording on Saturday before the Saturday games because we delayed the podcast.
Oh shit! There's
last week.
games today. Fuck.
There's games today, so now we're looking at we're not changing.
We're not changing.
And this podcast should be up. If
I'm
not after the tonight games, it'll be up Sunday morning before the Sunday slate.
Hey, okay, Doc.
No, I'm probably tomorrow.
All right, Jags, Ravens. I am taking the Ravens because they have to win.
The Ravens. Also, the Jags are bad. Although Mike Glennon didn't look bad.
I got
a
what was it? Jake Luton? That's his name?
Yeah.
I got his rookie card now.
No, he's awful, so you can throw it away.
I was gonna put it in
James
the box that I
Robinson
gave
card.
you. Nah, I don't have that one. I got a lot of good rookies. Oh, last night I pulled a Joe Burrow patch.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Bucks, Falcons. I have the Bucks.
Yeah, I gotta go Bucks.
I'm gonna go Falcons and Bruce Arians. There started to be whispers of him getting fired.
Yep. Niners, Cowboys. Wow.
Niners.
This is in Dallas.
Doesn't matter.
All right, I'm going Niners too. I need Ayuk to do well since Michael Thomas is out. Eagles, Cardinals. I am going Cards. Oh shit! Oh, hold on. I don't know. Y'all go first. It's in Arizona.
I'm gonna go Eagles because I really don't think Cliff Kingsbury is doing a good job with that team right now, and it disappoints the shit out of me. They're making Kyler run too much.
Well, that's what the Eagles are gonna do with Jalen.
But I think with Jalen, there's still the newness factor of if you have a running quarterback, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But right now, Kyler, the tape is out and he's a one-trick pony, and he doesn't need to be because he can throw the ball.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles too.
I'm going with the Cards.
The Cards should win.
I know, but nah. Like I'm thinking about the Eagles too, and I want the Eagles to win because I listed up the rookie QB.
I'm just ready for the Washington Philly game at Week 17 to be a huge game.
Yeah.
All right. Jets Rams. The Rams. Pick the Jets, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, the Rams.
Unless
Chiefs,
they're playing
Saints.
Oakland, it's Jets losing.
Chiefs Saints.
Game of the week.
Chiefs.
Game of the year. Chiefs. No, Chiefs. Fuck.
Michael Thomas is out, by the way.
Where are they playing?
In New Orleans.
In the Dome. Chiefs. No.
Give me the Chiefs to make sure they get home field advantage over Buffalo. So.
I'm going with the Chiefs because I know Tyreek Hill is going to go off. I hope he does. I need to win this money. I bought too many prison boxes.
I wish I had money.
Yeah, money's always good.
I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. It's a risk reward. We also do have a prison box opening going up at some point.
Did y'all do it?
Yeah, we did one,
Part of it.
and then I got another box in, and I couldn't wait, so I opened the shit. I didn't record it. I couldn't wait.
I gotta go.
All right. Browns Giants. I'm taking the Browns.
Browns.
Yeah, Giants are awful.
Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year, if not for Ron Rivera.
Steelers Bengals. I'm taking the Steelers to get back right.
Steelers.
Steelers.
All right. So, final thoughts. You guys go first.
Arsenal's terrible. That's it.
Okay.
COVID's still a thing. Stay inside if you can. Don't make this Christmas a regrettable one when there's so many that are coming out soon. The vaccine is here. All we need to do is to be on our best behavior while we start to inoculate those that we can. I just want everybody to be as safe as possible and to really pay attention to these death tolls as they start to skyrocket, and still holding out the grim realization we might be hitting 4,000 deaths before Friday.
Oh yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Brian.
Arsenal's terrible. That's all.
Oh. All right. My final thought is on ASOS, we will have card openings of like Prism, football, and basketball and shit like that. So be on the lookout. The Death Star definitely did go boom. Wasn't expecting it, but shit, it did.
Hey, do you have anything to say there, K-Dot?
Death Star still go boom.
Boom.